Hello viewers, good evening and welcome to once again another riveting edition of the Enterprise NTV Uganda supported show on practical solutions to actually do it or make it in business, but most importantly, weather the COVID-19 storm. However, in the discussions, like we've seen in previous discussions, we've tackled a number of topics that transcend the COVID-19 pandemic. And as usual, today I am your host, Charles Woji, and we are honored to have a business coach. Charles, as usual, you can greet the viewers.
Thank you so much, viewers, and this yet another very exciting afternoon.
Yeah, very good. Now, today we have a special guest, viewers, and she's a businesswoman, a seasoned businesswoman, someone who grew from, you'd say, built her empire from scratch. And then placed it to where it is today. And it really rhymes with the topic that we're going to discuss today, which is looking at practical tips on how to move from a micro enterprise owner to an owner of a diversified family business. Now, the key words there are the micro, and then, of course, a diversified enterprise. And maybe I should add the word large as well.
Very correct.
Because I think her scale is now at that level. Our guest, please greet our viewers.
Good evening, everybody. I'm happy to be here, delighted and cheerful. Thank you.
Very good. I'll complete her introduction. And she's Julian, Adair, Omara. She's the founder and managing director of Delight Uganda. I'm sure a number of us have heard that name. It's a household name. You know, I kept discussing with Charles, when she mentioned your name. I remembered my boarding school days. The only word we used to know back then was quencher first.
Yes.
And then cheers came.
Very true.
So if you know cheers, you definitely know Julian. We'll get back to you, Julian. Charles, let's look at today's topic before we go into a recap of what we picked last week. Why would a Ugandan, a business owner or someone aspiring, or like they say threatening to go into business, be interested in today's discussion?
Today's discussion is really to complete the journey of an entrepreneur. Many of us have entered into business and you are micro. And somehow you begin to make money, and somehow it's meeting your basic needs. If you hear the story of Adair today, you'll discover that businesses are meant to grow and grow non-stop, and they can achieve anything. And as such, if you may permit me, Charles, I want to say that people need to see these afternoons from a very, very bigger perspective. Yeah. Viewers, these Sundays are your very best because we cover many things. Yeah. You will come to know that actually by listening every Sunday here, if you're a public official, if you're a policy person, you'll discover that entrepreneurs matter. They give us the jobs we want. They give us the taxes that we are distributing. They matter. Two, by listening to these afternoon sessions, you'll also discover that entrepreneurs can be built. Who would have imagined a man like a lawyer who lost a father and a mom was in a camp, and he stops in senior 6, and today is earning over 1 billion from fish pond farming. Entrepreneurs can be built. But also, you'll appreciate that in these Sundays, we're not here just to have exciting stories. We're here to inform you as the viewer so that you may learn and pick lessons that can help you yourself to get into the game of business, and there are stories that will connect across the board. We have a lot of entrepreneurs who have supported, no less than 120,000, and many of them have been in the game for years. Some of them have just gotten there. But whatever the story that we bring here, there are lessons that you love to appreciate. But finally, by listening to these Sunday sessions, I want the viewers to know that there is now a clinic, a business center, where we build entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs don't just pop out like that. behind every story that you look at and admire are efforts, sweat, prices paid that Enterprise Uganda has been part of.
And I liked a very important aspect that you brought out last week. You know, the fact that we have many people that begin well.
Yes.
Now, making a leap from being small
Yes.
to medium
Yes.
now becomes a problem
Very
because
true.
of that sense of early arrivalism,
Correct.
the excitement that comes with a bit of money.
And you are better than the people that you used to be with.
Exactly.
It makes you a bit comfortable that,
Yeah.
you know, I think I'm okay now here.
Yeah, yeah.
Very true indeed.
That was very powerful. Now, viewers, last week we had a very interesting story of a young woman. She's a pharmacist and now a business owner, because what she did is actually to monetize that skill, that profession of hers. You know, the skill she learned from school and then turned it into a business, which is now employing many people, and it's becoming a chain of other businesses as well. Charles, what were the key highlights for those that missed the show? Because I understand there was a bit of a challenge with power in a number of
that's
areas.
correct,
so
yeah.
I know a number of our viewers didn't really follow up on that.
Yeah.
What were the main highlights, if you may?
Right. The story of Grace, Charles, had a few learnings that I think I can just summarize here. Because Grace was a professional pharmacist.
Yeah.
And as a professional pharmacist and a lady in that, the best thing she would have wanted to do was to be given a job, go ahead and then enjoy that career. And most pharmacists have got opportunity to actually get those jobs. But the lady said along the way she was experiencing erratic payment of salary. And then she said, what if now I try to walk into this game myself? And when she did that, after attending Enterprise Uganda training, these are some of the things that came out of her journey. Number one, Grace made us realize that professionals with business skills, and that's important to underscore, business skills, can perform well and faster as business owners in their fields of profession. Within 4 years, Grace was able to establish 3 branches of a pharmacy. And she also established a medical center. But she needed the business skills for that release to come in. Secondly, you know, when we take our children to school, like Grace did, she went to school, she was told, go to school, study hard, and get a good job. She actually gets a job that hires her as a pharmacist. But then Grace later, as we heard her story, she did not only continue to be a pharmacist, she now ended up being an owner of a pharmacist and remaining a consultant, a builder of other pharmacies. In effect, from Grace's story, the common advice we normally give to our children, which goes like this, that go to school, study hard, and get a job. That advice is outdated. We need to rewrite it or restate it and say, go to school, study hard, and be ready to be of value to the world as either an employee or a business owner or both. Because the moment you do that, the world will reward you. When she became an owner of a pharmacist, she grew. When she continued to offer consultancy services as a business person to other pharmacists, she got even better fees. And when she did that, the parents who took her to school, who wanted her to have a good job, these are the benefits that came out. One, she educated her sister through university. Later, that sister got a job in her own pharmacies. 2, she built for her parents a beautiful home, a modern home. So now the parent who thought, you know what, the only time my child will be of meaning to me is when she has got a title of an employment somewhere. That was changed by Grace's story. Thirdly, according to Grace's experience, for professionals, their first capital is actually their professional knowledge. Using this, Grace was able to convince a fellow professional within the pharmacy industry and wholesalers of pharmaceutical drugs to give her a bit of startup capital because she had that knowledge and competence in the area of our intended business. 4, even for professionals, it was clear from Grace's story that even for professionals, the beginning will never be smooth. It will be unstructured. It will not be ideal. Grace had to walk to her pharmacies. Grace had to sleep in a small room behind the pharmacy. Grace was involved in rebuilding and remodeling the pharmacy herself. Now, anybody who would see her doing all those kind of things would say, Grace, why are you suffering? Just look for a job in a pharmacy. Be happy with the 700. Don't do these shaming things.
I'll ask you the question, why did you go to school?
Why did you go to school?
Yes.
Now, but anybody now sees where Grace is saying, oh my God, this lady is lucky. Whatever she does is flowing very well, but they forget the beginning. Number 5, we learn from Grace's story that challenges do not spare even a beginner. You wish this lady who was struggling to get capital, who was struggling to remodel the pharmacy, should have no any other challenges outside those basic ones. Not the case. One of the challenges she met, she had unlimited money that she wanted to use to put up the shelves for the pharmacy. She got a conman as a carpenter. The conman took the money. And he knew this young girl here cannot pursue me. The young lady was tenacious. She pursued her, took her to court, spending her limited financial resources, spending her limited time, and then diverting her mind that was needed to run the enterprise. But the message is clear. Challenges do not spare even a beginner. Number 6, if you look at the story of Grace, salaried professionals can get startup capital. That was very, very key. People have kept saying, I don't have capital. I need to wait for NSSF for me to start something. She's put it clearly. Salaried people can actually get capital. They can save. And what had happened to Grace? The limited money she was getting from this salary that she had with a pharmacist, she was accumulating it to buy a sofa set and a screen, a big screen, to impress her peers. That, you know, I've just left university, see my chairs.
And that's a big undoing, Charles.
Yes.
In fact, I was touched by that because, especially for a lady who has just completed university, a scientist at that, a pharmacist, the first thing they will think about is a good flat screen.
Correct.
And then all these good things, you know, in the house and all that. And the car.
Exactly. And you check those young people who go and get jobs in a bank, they will take every loan available. Within the bank, within the money lenders, within wherever they can get. Why? I'm working in a bank and I should have a car. I should look like a banker. Grace later, after attending the training, she said, you know what? That 2.5 is actually going to become my startup capital. And because she sacrificed the 2.5, she followed it to the letter. A conman who tried to take it, she said, I can't allow this. I would have gotten chairs. I would have gotten the screen. But now I want my enterprise to take off. She said that 2.5 has my sweat, and I will not allow anybody to misuse it. But the good ending was this. Grace today has excellent sofa sets. She has got an excellent screen. But those things are now coming from a successful enterprise.
She can afford them.
She can afford them. And the story is sustainable. It's one thing for you to be working in a bank. You take this car loan, you own a car, you are not even able to fuel it. You can't take it to the garage when it's supposed to go to a garage.
You don't even have where to park it, but you
That's a
pay
big
somewhere
Correct.
every night, you know.
Very true. And the story is that these things will always be available. Get to them when you're able to get them, but sustain the enjoyment of having those things. The other things that we learned, I'm going through them quickly, is that when you get a grant, and that grant comes with an element of having you to be accountable, you behave better, you use it better. When Grace got a grant from a colleague, the colleague visited the place where she was going to. And she now knew every day my colleague will be coming and checking on me. Am I going to shame her? She also saw people who were giving other support that she could get and said, all these people are doing this because they believe in me. I can't afford to disappoint them. So viewers, as families, as relatives who have given grants, to what extent have we demonstrated to the grant recipients that we're interested to see their transformation? Because if we do that, we're putting something into the mindset of these people that, please, whatever I've given you, I believe in you. And I would not want to see you again coming and saying, I want another grant of the same type. You've seen people asking people in Kampala, I want money to plow a garden. That was 2019. You gave the money. 2020 comes, the rains are on again, the person is coming again. I want money to plow a garden. The number of gardens are the same. The crop sheet the person is plowing is the same. We are spoiling people with the grants that create a syndrome of dependency. That was a good lesson. Now, Grace, again, in her very young, short period of being a businesswoman of 4 years, she made something very, very interesting. She said, to build credit worthiness, honor your money promises. And she made something that really made my heart to be glad. She said, if you make money and you had promised somebody that you'd give it on Friday and you have got it on Wednesday, call the person. That, by the way, I received this money. It should have been on Friday, but can I send it to you now? They don't forget you. Now, Grace has so many people who are supplying her drugs on credit. They even, when she delays to call them and take more orders, they call her. If she doesn't pick the phone calls, what do these people do? They drive right to where she is and say, Grace, we have just come to check on you. You are not picking our calls. We want to give you more items on credit. That is intangible but extremely powerful asset, and the asset is called trust. Trust. The young lady was interesting. The other thing that I saw from her story was that it is possible to run your business as well as be a salary earner. Grace has got 3 pharmacies. She has started a medical center, but the other pharmacy owners are coming to her and saying, Grace, I also have a pharmacy. There's a way you are succeeding. Come and help me. And as she's doing that, the fees, the money she's getting, brilliant. There's no contradiction in you being a salary earner, at the same time being a very prosperous business owner. Brilliant, brilliant experience in such a young lady. The other thing that she brought out clearly was that every business has competition. But she added something interesting. She said, even haters. As young as she was, she was already experiencing hatred for her success. People simply saying, how can she? She's a young girl. She started the other day, but she made the point. No matter how straightforward your journey has been in terms of honesty, people will still want to hate you for that. Second last point, actually the last point, she said that a business person cannot outlive a business advisor. And she clearly illustrated the very many things she came to pick up from Enterprise Uganda. The first contact and the first training was brilliant. It pushed her to start. Then she discovered the need for customer care. They need now to recruit properly. They need now to be able to manage the way you are looking after your stocks. So there are no wastages, there are no pilferages. All these are things we teach people. And she said, please, it is impossible, literally impossible, to imagine that you've mastered everything. Remain a learner. And she underscored that point. And I thought, viewers, these are the kind of things every Sunday we will be sharing in every story. Please look forward to yet a very interesting story of a woman who started from basics and had also basic education, who had basics in terms of resources. I don't want to spoil her story. She's right here with us.
Very good. And I'll jump onto it right away. Julian, I'm sure viewers are burning to know who you are, because, I mean, we've tried to get a peek here and there. And I think it's better to hear it from the horse's mouth. Who is Julian, and what do you do?
I have many names, but one thing I want to say, I'm Julian, Adair Omara, agro-business entrepreneur. People know me for what I do. My nickname is Mama Cheers. I process and pack Cheers juice. I have a farm with 2 million seedlings, fruit seedlings, and other tree seedlings. I have a mother garden of Corona eucalyptus, coffee, bananas. I have an orchard of 1,200 acres, 500 acres of Corona eucalyptus, a farm institute. I'm a board member of Noya Fruit Growers Cooperative Society with 5,000 outgrowers. I'm a chairperson of Noya Fruit Growers Cooperative Society. I'm a board member of Private Sector Foundation, a chairperson of Skills, Health and Education. I sit on the Presidential Investor Roundtable as an advisor on agriculture, a board member of Good Leather Farm, Busitema University, and Kurika, Uganda.
Very good.
I'm a mother of 3, a housewife, a grandmom of 2, an employer of 188.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. And I think viewers, you can see it is possible. Those are many hats, and I think, Julian, you share with us how you're able to don all those hats and still, you know, manage to spare time to come here and have this conversation with us. But maybe before we go there, I would like to know just a bit of your story. How did you start? How did you, because, I mean, I've had thousands or hundreds of hectares of fruit. You were into processing. I know you began small. I mean, if you can shed for us that picture, paint for us the picture. Where did you start?
I started as a farm worker for my brother in Hoima, a shop attendant for my brother in Kasubi, a petty trade, bringing things from Kenya to Uganda. Till 1996, my dream of making fresh juice from locally grown fruits, that vision came in me. That's when I started thinking about setting an industry. That's when I started and registered the company, Delight Uganda Limited, producing and packing Cheers juice. My dream was to make fresh juice from the fresh fruits. By that time, the challenges could not allow me. I started making the imitation juice, but I managed to outcompete the tycoons who were in the business. Because of that dream, I've done many things which I will share with you during the story.
I hear you. You know, when we hear, you know, the story of starting and the time it takes for someone to start and then, you know, tell it up to the end, you might think that it's been easy all the way. What were some of, if you can take us into the realities you had to contend with to really get this dream off the ground?
In that beginning part of the story.
Wow. My biggest challenge was to make fresh juice from the locally grown fresh fruits. The big challenge brought in many small challenges. Another small challenge was to search for capital. And in the search for capital, I did many things. One, I was a trader in Chikovo. I went to Southern Sudan to search for money. I remember in Southern Sudan by that time.
Which year is this?
I can say it's around 16 years ago.
16 years ago.
16 years ago, where I was the agent of Rwenzori Mineral Water, and I had a credit limit of 1 billion. I remember in a week I would take 10 lorries of Rwenzori Mineral Water on credit, sell and come back. I remember by that time in Southern Sudan, I was selling Rwenzori water, I was selling eggs. I had 2 poultry farms with a capacity of 80,000 commercial layers. One was in Torat, my up-country home. One was in Senge, and I had a milling plant in Bombo, and I would export the maize flour to Southern Sudan. I remember there is a time when I was awarded by the World Bank as the best exporter, the biggest exporter of maize flour in 2000 Sudan. In Southern Sudan, once I had 200 workers. I had the best bakery baking up to 250 wheat flour in a day. And we would make money and sell. Even there is a day we sold 4 bags of money. All that money was not mine. But in search of trying to look for money and the capital to realize my dream of making fresh juice from the fresh fruits.
I hear you. That's a lot. It's quite something, Charles.
Yeah.
And I think you don't just wake up one day and you find yourself in that space. And for instance, Rwenzori trusts you with a credit facility of 1 billion and then build all this, which will push me into asking you, Julian, how did you get there? How did you get to that point? What principles really helped you to get to that space before I bring in Charles?
One thing what I believe in as an agro-business entrepreneur, I believe in doing.
Okay.
When you have your vision, pursue your vision, follow it. Don't let other people to pursue for you your vision. My vision was big. It's still a big vision. So my vision would push me in doing. I'm an expatriate in doing. And once you start something, believe in yourself. You don't start what you cannot finish. Because I know I had a bigger dream to pursue, or whatever I have done in my life was to pursue my bigger dream.
I hear you. Charles, this is the point where you come in. We're seeing many entrepreneurs biting a lot more than they can chew.
Yeah.
And it kills them. But Julian here seems to be growing, you know, and running with it. Anyway, what are your key learnings from what she has shared with us so far?
In the very beginning and all through as she spoke, you could see a person who had focus. Very, very, very key. She said, I have many names people have described me. They call me Mama Cheers. In other words, when she went to juice and cheers, she gave it her all. When she was a worker for her brother and another brother, she gave it her all. Adair goes into something and focuses and concentrates. Because it's so, and then the other thing that comes out here is, as she's now going through what we call bridging business opportunities, milling, petty trading, and all these kind of things that we sometimes undermine and ignore. She was saying, these are my stepping stones to my ultimate dream. She had a vision to end up with a factory that will depend on fresh fruits from Uganda. And that factory, she said, she must achieve it no matter what it is. And she had to say, I'm going to use all types of fruits to go there. If it means becoming a dealer for water for Rwenzori in Southern Sudan, so be it. If it means to become a miller of maize and export it to Southern Sudan, so be it. But behind her mind was still a dream, which was saying, I'm going to manufacture fresh juice in this country. That steadiness of a dream is extremely important in business.
I hear you, and I can't agree more with that, really. Viewers, at the end of this interface, we're going to open calls. And of course, one of our main principles, you know, in these forums that we are holding is for you to be able to directly interact with, you know, the visitors that we have for you who are practical business people. Now, if your question or the issue you want to bring to the fore has to go to the coach, we also have a business coach in the house who is actually dealing with these distinguished entrepreneurs and in one way or another refining them to actually achieve their dreams. Julian, let me come back to you. You employ people in their hundreds, and I think you've employed many over the years. It's a tough ball game, especially if you're not a big corporate, you know, with very big, well-structured human resource manuals and everything. And I know that a number of businesses have failed to make it just simply because of failure to manage workers' dynamics. And I'm sure there are many out there who are looking at you and are like, how does she manage all these businesses? Because I'm sure you can't be in 7 places at the same time. How did you build, you know, that workforce to really push forward your vision? And how are you managing to actually keep them productive?
One thing I want to thank Enterprise Uganda. By the time, it's now 19 years ago since we are trained, there are some competencies I picked from the Empty Tech program. One was self-confidence, demand for efficiency, setting goals, and believing in myself and working hard. Actually, I was trained to be a successful entrepreneur. Now, after that training, I said, how am I going to become an investor? How am I going to realize my dream? Because at first I could not express myself publicly, I confess. But since I was trained, skilled, I said I will do it, I will pursue my dream. Another thing which has helped me, I also thank Professor Maggie Chigozi. By that time, she was the executive director of Uganda Investment Authority. And Mr. Chichi, I bothered them a lot from the beginning. Any challenge I would get in my business, I would give them a call. I would rush to them. How do I handle this? How do I do this? This is the biggest challenge. One, there's a time I had the employed relatives. I realized it was a problem and we had to sort out. And now I can recruit a relative to come and compete with others and we work. After picking the skills, and another thing, my strength is I lead by example, by doing. When I recruit anybody, I take them through the training, the skilling on how to do it. That is the difference. I tell them we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this, and this is the way we have to do it. Now, if I've trained you and I've engaged you and I've shown you how to do it, and I'm leading from in front, and I must ensure it is done in the way it is needed. That demand for efficiency during the training, I still remember it, and indeed, I demand it. So, I know my vision, and I must pursue it, and you cannot leave somebody else to pursue your dream. Otherwise, you will pursue their dream or their vision. If you have a vision, you need it to be done the way you need it. You must do it. You employ other people. You must make them to believe in you and pursue your vision. Otherwise, if you make them to pursue your vision, they will never. It will you now. You will have to follow their vision.
I think that's
so
a very
I
important
believe
one,
in
Julian.
it. Yes, yes.
Sorry to cut you short there, because I've seen a number of people who are trying to go into business, and they're not sure actually what they want to achieve. In fact, in some cases, they tend to rely on some of the people who may not be experts, their workers, to actually refine for them what they should be doing. That is quite powerful.
For me, as a local entrepreneur, I know exactly my vision. I know what I want.
Yeah.
When I employ a professional, I want to get that professionalism in you to add on what I know. And I also want to skill you, train you on how to do it. Because I believe in that, I've not been diverted. The only time I was being diverted, that's when I will tell you about the story of loans.
I hear you. Charles?
Interesting. Viewers should really take this opportunity to pick things you don't pick from textbooks. We've heard about the story of mentors and coaches and people you can go to and be able to learn from. This lady says, whom do I go to? Obviously, there are many people she could have gone to. Could have been a banker, it could have been a neighbor, it could have been whoever. She said, Maggie is leading an investment center. This lady must be interested in my success. Choosing a mentor means you must choose a person you feel, one, will connect with your challenge, two, will be able to be honest and give you guidance the way it is. Mentors is not just anybody that will come and shower you with praise. By the way, she said, by the time she said, I want to go to Enterprise Uganda now, she also knows exactly what does Enterprise Uganda do. And when she comes to us, we give her the message the way it is. The things she has been mentioning, many people have said, business mindset is key. Business mindset is key. Listening to her, you now begin to see those ingredients of a business mindset. You set a goal, you pursue it. You demand for efficiency from an employee you have brought in, competed, and given a job and said, now this is your job, but I'm going to get an arm and a leg from you. If you don't, get out. She said, you must be a networker and you must communicate.
Yeah.
She said, I never used to do these things. When we see things lying there, we don't know what's unique about those things. It is your ability to communicate and bring out those things that matters. Now, when you listen to a lady like this speaking, you discover that entrepreneurs are really people who look for opportunities, and then you can't own them. When Enterprise Uganda cannot have technical skills in agribusiness, she looks for those skills. Some of the skills, she actually hires a professional. And she says, when I hire a professional, I learn from them, but I'm the owner of the business. I own the mangoes, but I'm now hired a mango expert. Let me listen to the mango expert. That is interesting. The mango expert you are listening to does not even have a piece of land. But here you are, a multi-billionaire, and saying, this person here has got an area of expertise. I may be richer, I may be better financially than this person is going to make me better. Why are you learning from that professional? You are learning from that professional to fulfill your vision and to look after your customers. So whatever it takes for an entrepreneur to be a better satisfier of a customer's need, Adair is saying, learn it, implement it for the sake of the customer.
I hear you. Adair, I know you mentioned a bit about the areas where you sit, and I think this is a time now you can define for us the sectors where you've invested, and so that people get a feel properly of where you've been, and would like to understand still how you manage. I don't want to use the word juggle, because juggling is you're jumping here and there, but how you've managed.
Well, to me, actually, I thank the Almighty God for what I've gone through. One, I said, I worked for my brother in the garden. I was a farm manager in Oima. I was a retailer in Kasubi for my brother. I was into petty border trade, where I used to be the first person going to Busia, Malaba. I would board the first taxi in the morning. In the evening, come back with my things under the taxi, take them to Chikubo, and move around. After that, my dream came in. I must be an investor and be a manufacturer. That's when my dream came in, to make fresh juice from the fresh fruits. When I got that dream, I used not to sleep. I remember I was walking on Brurum from Kampala, going home in Bakuri, where I was living. I told a friend, my dream is to make fresh juice from fresh fruits. She told me, Adair, you are dreaming. You can't afford even a taxi. You can't afford even to have lunch in Chikubo. I said, yes. I had accumulated money during my border trade. I was robbed by a friend who is called Maka in Kenya. When I transferred all the money to him, he decided to divert the money. He was a partner we were working with. We had not registered anything. Then I said, having no money does not mean that I should have no dream. It's better to dream than to be there. Because I'm telling you, I'm going to be an investor, I'm going to make a factory, I'm going to make the cheers juice, and I'm going to make fresh juice from the fresh fruits. For you are telling me that I'm daydreaming. I told her that, you might not develop yourself because you have no dreams. Me, I have my dream, and I'm telling you my vision. But if you want to ask me how I'm going to do it, my Father in heaven knows, but I know I will do it. We walked from Brurum up to Bakuri. Then later on, Sione told me, Adair, I wish you the best, but I don't think you can. I told him, please don't discourage me. You can only pray for me and support me. And I want to tell you, since that time, I said, I will be here I am today. Now, because my dream is big, and my dream was big since 1996, I've managed to do the following. I have the fruits now ready. In this season, we lost 26 trucks of fruits, each truck having 15 metric ton. We could not harvest it because of COVID. That was around March, April.
Wow.
In May, we managed to bring 4 trucks of fruits, which we sold in Kafumbe Mukasa. I invited the Minister of Agriculture and the EDNADs to come and launch the sale of our locally grown mangoes. The women, I quote, it was even the new paper in the vision, that Uganda has the best fruits, better than Kenya mangoes. We sold the roll of mangoes within 2 days would bring. I was equally stranded with more mangoes. Professor Magiki goes, I told her you were my mentor. I'm stranded with the mangoes. He said, let me call Professor Kwesiga of Yuri to allow you to go to Yuri to open it up so that you can process your mangoes. I want to thank the professor. During close down, he opened up. Even the EDNADs, I went to his office. I shedded tears in his office. I was demanding for the factory. He said, Adair, you've been patient enough. We are going to work hard in this financial year to ensure that we fulfill your presidential pledge. He also called the ED Yuri and pleaded with him to allow us to process our mangoes. He called, he was stressed up. I thank Professor, he allowed us. We took our roll of mangoes. Even he had given us a roll to pick the mangoes, but I told him the mangoes are coming. We managed to process at least 9 metric tons of pulp. We managed to do product development of the concentrate. As I talk to you, I'm the happiest. My product came out as I was imagining. I did it and I made the best concentrate, which you just put your third fruit juice, you add water and you drink.
On that happy note, Adair, we'll pick it from there. Viewers, we'll have to take a very short commercial break here. We'll pick the story, a very powerful story from a seasoned businesswoman. From there, after this very short commercial break. Welcome back, viewers. We're still proceeding with that topic where we're looking at how a business can move from a micro operation, you know, to a diversified business, a multi-billion business, you know, spread across different sectors. And in that, we're taking a case study of Julian Adair here, the proprietor and MD of Delight Uganda. Now, before we went for the break, Adair, you were talking about, you know, your happiness, being able to convert raw mangoes into pulp and proceeding. But most importantly, we're trying to also give the viewers the size of your operations at the moment. And of course, that will tie into, you know, that quite good topic, Charles, the one of import substitution. And that's the question we'll be following that up.
Very good.
Yes, before you come in that. Yes.
One thing I want to say, we have our factory in Kawempe and the head office. We sit on 2.8 acres of land in Kawempe. In Noya district, we sit on 1,700 acres of land, fully occupied by 1,200 acres of fruits. That is mango, guava, citrus, and the soursop, and many other small fruits mention it. We have Delight Farm Institute for skills, hands-on training, where we train the internships, we train the community, and we train whoever wants to come and learn fruit farming. We also have the community, because most of our daily work, the community outreach. We do the extension service, and we are in 9 sub-counties in Noya district, where we have 5,000 outgrowers with 5,240 acres of fruit seedlings. We work with UN Women. We are supporting 2,000 women, those who have planted guava. Last year, 1,000 planted the guavas and mangoes. This year, the 1,000 they are going to plant a puripuri sorghum. We are going to supply the brewery. They are going to intercrop with mangoes and guavas. Why do we intercrop? We realize that the women need quick money to help them to sustain their long-term goal of fruit growing. We are also supported by you ABI Trust from the beginning. At least they paid for our extension service. They expanded our nursery and helped us to start training the community. They believed in our dreams. And when I became a board member of Private Sector Foundation, at first I represented, I was in trade, but later on I said, you know, I must pursue the goal I love most is skill. I believe in doing it, training the people. All our training is done at the Farm Institute, which sits on the garden, and we train them in the farm. If it is diseases, we go with our outgrowers, we tell them this is the disease. We have like anthracnose, BBS, the fruit flies. They know the farmers. Even they composed the song of running the diseases, how they should handle. But our biggest challenge in life, after training them and showing them the challenge, we look at each other.
I hear
Delight Uganda has no capacity to support the 5,000 outgrowers. Delight Uganda is struggling. We have sold all our products and even borrowed from the suppliers. I want to thank my suppliers. I have like 10 suppliers who gives us on credit how to manage the farm. You look at the problem like the fruit flies. It should be handled like the locusts today because it's a national threat, and that's why Uganda, we cannot meet the European standards. I have talked to my level. I sit on the Presidential Investor Roundtable. I was there in phase 4. I talked. I'm there in phase 6. I've talked. A solution not yet reached.
I hear you. Adair, we'll come to the challenges because we really want to know those challenges you're contending with, especially sitting in now the policy that government is pursuing of import substitution. But I want to bring in Charles up to that point. You know, the key learnings that, you know, we pick from this sort of resilience.
Again, you discover that entrepreneurs begin to wear a certain mindset. And Adair said she could hardly sleep because her dream was always knocking, knocking, knocking. She had a true friend who told her that we're here working, we can't even afford a taxi. And you are talking about owning a factory. You're a dreamer. I said, yes, I'm dreaming. But as I dream, I'm doing something about it. So the message that comes out of there is that many times, and sometimes in a very painful way, your very own, the person closest to you, your friend, will not believe in you.
Sometimes your spouse.
Sometimes your spouse. Stick to it. It can be lonely to be an entrepreneur. Very, very clear. And then she was saying, I will knock every door. But as she was knocking every door, going to NADS, going to URI, going to UIA, going to Enterprise Uganda, she was doing the knocking at the same time, sweating it out. Sweating it out. In other words, love your God, do all it takes to depend on anybody who can do whatever they can do for you, but believe in yourself and keep moving. We could see that very, very clearly from Adair. But she also touches something that I think you are going to follow up again, which is that getting farmers to belong to your farmers as a community, to belong to your value chain, to do what you want to do with your big dream is not something that can be easily done by an investor. And our government, our policies, in terms of building communities that are economically empowered, should appreciate the need to ride on the back of people like Adair, give her all that it takes to get this people to belong to the value chain in a way that is commercially feasible, and then at that point you'll have done something more durable and more sustainable.
I hear you. Thank you, Charles. Adair, going back to the issue of the policy, government is now pursuing, I should say with quite some vigor, the import substitution policy. Probably COVID has kind of, you know, helped to add fuel to that aspiration. Because now we realize that we have to be self-sufficient through people like you. You sit on the board of Private Sector Foundation Uganda, and among the hats you wear, I mean, you've interacted with policy-making people. What do you think should be done to actually make this policy aspiration achievable?
To me,
And then what are the challenges that you're contending with that make it hard? Let me add that
to me,
to see that.
I believe that government has a will, but the only challenge is how to do it. It's a challenge. Government needs to come in and look at the complete value chain, if I may say, of fruits, starting from the nursery. How do they manage the orchard, the post-harvesting challenges, and the value addition? When you look at me, my dream is big, which needs like 50 billions. If it is 50 billions, maybe I have managed to move up to 19 billion because we have an orchard, the fruits are ready. The fruits of the community are ready. But one thing they did not do right. One, we have managed to train them at our institute. We have identified the challenges. It is those challenges in the farm which made us to start the institute. Why? We needed to have the professionals to come in. We as entrepreneurs, we pursue, but there's what we cannot do right. And Uganda has the most highly educated civil servants. We have the people who have learned it. We want to do that technology transfer from the head to the heart, to the hand, to the ground. We want the teenagers today to be the one to do, but those professionals to come and lead by example. So for us was to establish a center of excellence where technology transfer can be done. We learn how to do it. Now, after knowing how to do it, we needed to have the resources. Starting one from what we need a calendar how to manage fruits. We need even the pruners. We need the agro inputs. We need the trainers on how to do it. Those people who, government will say, yes, we have the extension service, we have what, but they sit in their offices. At times they are not facilitated. We work together with them. We share their challenges. You find that they cannot do it. Now we need to meet the European standards so that we can produce enough, and it is possible because for us, for the 8 years we have been in the farm, we have managed to produce the quality fruits, beating up all the standards because we concentrated on it. Even this time of COVID, we were in the farm and we have done it. So government needs to bear with the sun. If you are a lover of rose flowers, you must bear the sun.
Correct.
So to be successful in Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, our government must bear the sun and support in all stages of the complete value chain, not only on fruits. If it is tea, it should be like that. If it is coffee, it should do like that. And also government should also have mercy on us. Me, I want to say one thing. I've done many things in search for capital to realize my dream of making fresh juice from fresh fruits. Last year, I supplied 800,000 coffee seedlings to Tororo district. Up to now, I've never been paid. This year, right now, we are struggling to distribute 800,000 coffee seedlings. I'm failing to raise fuel to pick the coffee from the farm to the farmers, because every day I get a demand of, at least I can say 100,000 coffee seedlings. But our vehicles, which used to work in Kawempe for years, all were transferred to the farm. We are doing what we can, but the road, the infrastructure, you cannot cross. You will see the video when the two tractors were pulling one road when we had 4 workers. I myself, I spent a whole day on the bridge. We have made bridges. We have struggled. We were promised of the road to cross from Achua to Arua Road. We are still waiting for the road. So we have challenges which we cannot handle as local entrepreneurs, whereby it's a government to handle. Look at fruit flies. you cannot handle. We managed to spray in our farm. We borrowed the money, and even we put the traps. Even we wrote a proposal of an innovation window to private sector to help us to fight fruit flies. But since here, I believe fruit flies must be fought like locusts in Uganda. I call upon the president of Uganda to come out and fight fruit flies. We cannot pass and meet the European standards. Fruit flies are affecting mangoes. They are affecting even bananas. They are affecting all the fruits. You will find the residues. We use a lot of drugs to fight. But really, the government should do their work of the infrastructure. Development partners should also come in, and we join our hands together. To me, I sincerely believe that if we join up our hands, and that's why we built the Delight Farm Institute for the professionals, the development partners, and the youth, those who still have the energy to do. They are the one to do the long-term planting. So, and planting and managing, because when you look at fruits, there is sustainable income.
I hear you.
Uganda can produce the best fruits in the world.
I want to chip in something, Adair, here. And, you know, my producer is telling me I have so many callers on the line who want to hear from you. But I want them to hold it just a second. Because there's something I want you to bring out here. Because you alluded to the fact that you're dealing with the communities, outgrowers. And I know that's another animal altogether. If you can just give us a brief digest of how, why you chose that and what it takes to actually, you know, make that relationship productive and supportive to an enterprise like yours.
One thing, because of my dream of having fruits, to produce the fresh juice from locally grown fruits, I could not pursue my dreams without making them as my partner, because it is them to produce the fruits. My job is to make the juice. So one thing I had to want to raise the quality planting materials. I had to train them. We work with the farmers in groups, in a group of 25. And in the group of 25, we also have board members. Each sub-county is represented by a board member. We have a board advisor. We have a board advisor. So we all know that it's together we can make it. Well, I've not traveled alone. I've traveled with some development partners. I mentioned about ABI Trust, UN Women, and the private sector foundation. Actually, they are the one who gave us the money under the recovery program of northern Uganda. We bought the tractor and the excavator, and we have been training the skills, under skills program, the internship on how to do it. How to do it is very, very important, and that unity has managed to make us reach where you are.
Reach the point where you are. Charles, what do we pick from here very fast?
I think clearly there is a statement that she mentioned, and that statement has got everything in there. One, building the communities and making communities part of your value chain and doing it in a sustainable manner. You must go back to the statement Adair put across. She said, if you love roses, bear the thorns. If you love to make Ugandans to become part of the economy that is making them transformed and grow, take what it takes to get them to become good farmers, to get them to produce good fruits, fruits that will make the dream of Adair to come out properly. Because Adair is doing everything, but then her dream remains steadfast. She knows that in her dream, it doesn't matter how she went there. The juice must be acceptable, fresh juice. Now, if that takes it to go and work with the communities, it's a lot of sweat. And she's saying, please, government, take over this. My message here is that I think when we talk about programs like OWC, programs like Skilling Uganda, let's be listening to people who are already walking that path. There is something in them that can inform our budgeting, our programming, so that we do it better and faster.
I hear you. Thank you very much. Adair, there's something I want you to just talk briefly about before I bring in the callers. You know, there are people who look at you and say, you're lucky. You know, when you mention this, when you mention, this and that. I think I want to combine this with the fact that we've seen so many businesses starting at some point, blossoming, and then all of a sudden they disappear into the oblivion. Just walk for us, you know, that path you've taken, you know, with those aspects in hindsight. You know, for our viewers to really appreciate where you've come from to be where you are today.
To me, I think so long as you still have the grace and the chance to breathe, we thank the Almighty God that we are all lucky. It's not about being lucky. I've shared with you my journey from a farm worker at my brother's garden, a retail working for my brother, the petty trade, the Southern Sudan story. If I tell it, it can take even, I think, hours and hours. But at least I have a property and I have even a house. The arm of Southern Sudan has occupied my house. I have a land title. Now, what I've managed to do, it's not about being lucky. It's about having the life and learning on how to do it. You plan, you do, you pursue your dream. No matter the thorn you get on in your dream, just bear it. At the end, you will get what you want.
Talking about funds, I understand at some point you had invested in hostel business.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Wow. Yes, I had promised to tell you about the ones. Yes.
And what has happened to some of our own big business people when they get to banks?
I laugh at myself. I was doing well because by that time I had a credit facility from Renzori, 1 billion. And I had more than 6 big companies where I would go and road and sell. When we used to sell bags of money, we had a good cash flow in our bank. I tried to borrow money to buy the equipment. They told me, no, it will not bring out money quickly. What can I do? I said, okay, I need money to buy the hostel. By that time, I had discussed with Kamunyo Fred. He was ready to sell for me a hostel. That is a Kamwis Hostel Wandiga branch. When I took my proposal to the bank, it was approved, 100% loan. Then. And I got the money. I started. Life was fine because I had a fast moving businesses. That was Southern Sudan by that time. Whatever you would take, I would export poso, eggs. And I had trained women in Southern Sudan how to work hard. One would bake 250 bags of wheat flour. The women would line up like 200 and buy, go and sell on credit, survive on your own. By that time, I had become a trainer. I used to train them how to survive. I would tell them, don't fight men, work for yourself. So I had a fast learning business. I borrowed up to 7.9 billion. I had the loan, even the last loan, the mistake I did, I borrowed from Uganda Development Bank to pay part of the loan I had borrowed from a commercial bank.
You dug a hole to fill another hole.
Now, the business went down in Southern Sudan. The war started. I lost cash. Stock was 3.8 billion in Southern Sudan. I had built a flat. I had a full-fledged bakery. I came back to zero. I had paid the loan for 4 years, remaining with 2 years. The payouts, the restructuring came in. At first, I thought restructuring would help me. It could not. I became stressed, stranded. I remember one day my husband used his salary loan to send me we went to Belgium with other women entrepreneurs. He said, join up your women. I hated myself. I was so stressed up. I remember there is a time I got an award, Women of Substance. I told my daughter, go and pick for me that award. I cannot go to pick that award, a woman of substance, when I have loans all around me. I told her, kindly go and pick. My daughter went. I thank God I had educated my daughter in Cambridge. We sat, we agreed, one, to sell off the 2 hostels. The Kamwes Hostel Wandegea was sold. All the money went to the bank. Bridgeton, I felt hurt because it's me who designed it, built it from making the bricks up to, I told you, we had to sell it. I remained with 100 million. I said, what do? I must start a forest. That was like some capital which I got, I put in Noya. We have now 500 acres of fruits. What do I tell a fellow Ugandan? You are not supposed to look at the bank when you are starting a business to borrow 100% loan and put in a business where you are not an expatriate in it. Hotel business was a new business to me. I had not known how to manage it. I borrowed, and 100% loan was for what? Thank God. After realizing that, I remembered my story of a humble, poor beginning. That's the time I ran to Noya. I concentrated in fruit farming, organizing the farmers and the women especially. We've worked. I just got an award, I think, when I was honored as the best. I got that award, I remember, when I got the gold medal. From Noya, we drove to Ntongamo to get an award. But I'm telling you, if I had not gone back to my story of a humble, poor beginning, that would have marked my end.
I hear you. Charles, key learnings, a quick digest before we go to the callers, because they are really, really on my case on this.
I can only say this, that the story of success is never a given. And when you are successful, bankers also want to work with a successful person. If you do not know your limitations, you ride the joy of being recognized by a bank. She has put it well. She didn't know the business of hostels. She goes there 100% loan. She burnt herself. But also, she put something very beautiful at the close. She said, when you come down, don't be proud. Don't look back in the history of saying, you know, I've become an award winner and all these kind of things. Be ready to go back to humble beginnings and take off again from there. Within a short time, back to award winner.
I hear you.
Yeah.
She went to Noya. That's quite powerful.
Yeah.
Viewers, at this point, I think I will, pick some of the calls coming through. Please, when you come through, give us your name and go right away to the question. Hello? Hello, caller? Sorry, I think we've lost that one. Yeah, as we wait for, the other callers to come through, Adair, you have relatives. You have family members in your... Oh, I have...
Hello?
Yes, please. Can you give us your name and question? Hello, you...
Hello?
Yes, you're live on NTV. Kindly give us your name and question.
Yes, I can hear you. Hello?
We can hear you. What is your name and question, please?
My name is Mariam Kluge. I'm calling from Fort Portal.
Yes, Mariam.
Yeah, very inspiring story of Adair.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask her, how does she handle the stuff? I'm also a small entrepreneur. I'm dealing in ecotourism. But my problem is the stuff. The mindset of our Ugandan people is very, very bad. People just wake up in the morning, they don't come for work, you don't find them, and then you get stuck when you are completely fully booked and all these other things. It's so bad. I don't know how she manages. I want some tips on that.
Thank you, Mariam.
Mr. Chichi promised to meet me when the COVID-19 is gone. Can he please give me his number? I would like to have the number. And I would also like to get in touch with Adair, if it's possible to get her number.
Thank you, Mariam.
And I just wanted also to ask, I'm someone who fears loans.
Yeah.
I want some tips of how she handles the loans, because I fear loans, because I always feel like when you take a loan, you lose everything.
Thank you, Mariam.
Can she give me some tips about how to handle loans? Because I've never taken a loan in my life, but I'm thinking of expanding my business, but I'm always stuck because of the capital. But the loan, I haven't seen applied. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariam. Points are taken. Again, your name and question. Please be brief. Hello? Sorry, I think we've lost that one. We'll pick another caller. Please just give us your name and question when you come through. Hello? Sorry, I think I'm losing a number of callers there, but I'll pick another. Hello, your name and question, please.
Hello?
Hello, you live on NTV.
In Uganda, in Uganda,
Yes.
in Uganda is too much land. So if you search for the richest tea farmer in the world, you find Chinese, what? Why not a Ugandan? That is my question.
Okay. Yes, kindly give us your name and question. We'll get another caller. I think let's pick them at once and then we can respond to them. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, please. You're live on NTV. What is your name and question, please?
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Hey, my question goes to the man putting on a black coat.
That should be Charles.
May you help me with the location for Uganda Business Association?
Okay, thank you. I think I'll come. Let's offload these as we take another round.
Okay.
All right. I think I'll start with you,
Yes.
Adair. There's this lady from Port Portal.
The question again.
The dynamics of workers. How do you manage workers?
One thing before I go to the workers, I want to go back to parents. Have we done our job by parenting our children? For us, the way we are raised up by brilliant mothers who trained us on how to do it, what a woman must do, and how to do work, and believing in yourself. The way we have raised the teenagers today is not the way we were raised up. We didn't do our work of parenting. Look at our syllabus today. The syllabus does not encourage people in doing. Our people are highly trained, but they don't believe in doing. And that is a challenge we have today with our teenagers, with the biggest teenagers in the world, and people who look for job, graduates, but those who cannot settle down to work and deliver. That's why we had to start Delight Farm Institute to train and skill our workers on how to do it. And where we feel that professionals cannot settle and concentrate, we train our own people. Those who are semi-baked, we show them on how to do it. We talk to them. We build that rapport, that they believe in a business, they own it up, and we continue growing. Yes, at times there is, especially in the farm, many people want to come, you run with them, you take them to understand your vision, your mission, you go through it, but when they reach somewhere, they say, what about these sons? What about this? I cannot, somebody studied agriculture, don't want to work on the farm. They cannot stand for 5 to 6 hours to manage to do what. But for us, what we do, we train our workers on how to do it. Where we fail, even we bring Kenyans to come. Like now, the scientists we have in the farm, one is a Kenyan, and other people even who finish senior 6, they are there working. We are training them. It is our duty as entrepreneurs, as government, even development partners, to put all those graduates in the farm institutes and train them in any institute on how to do it. People don't believe in doing it. You see me here. When you come to my company, with my workers, we all go to work.
I hear you.
Yes.
On the issue of loans.
Issue of loans, to me, I believe you are not meant to start with a loan. A loan, you are supposed to have the right type of finance for your business. That's why I have not borrowed to start an industry in Noya. Why? It needs a lot of money. If I'm to borrow, I can borrow like 40 to 50 billion to my age. A grandmom today, I can't afford to pay. So however much the mangoes are ready, the roses are making, because I need a factory, I cannot borrow. Loans, you're supposed to borrow the money to help you to be there. For example, you have started your business, you have moved up to 70%, you need to bridge the gap, you can go and borrow, but the right loan, the right finance. For example, you are borrowing at 24% interest rate. Your profit is 18% interest rate. You know you cannot bridge.
Yeah.
So you should get affordable finance and the right interest rate, which we don't have in Uganda. That is a challenge. Borrowing is good, it pushes you to be there, but when you're about to be there, not to start with a loan.
Thank you, Adair. Charles, you can come in on the contacts. I still have many callers that are lining. They want to hear from you.
The contacts are very easy. We are located on Enterprise Uganda, plot number 38, Lumumba Avenue. The landline is 0312 382 100. On occasions, I can take sometimes on my own mobile, but I know I can be overwhelmed. I'm on 0772 699 808. But the landline would be the best.
Very good. I will now take another round of calls. Please be brief. When you come in, just give us your name and go right away to the questions. Hello? Yes, please. You're live on NTV.
Hello.
Hello? Yes, what is your name and question, please?
Hello. Hello.
Sorry, I think I might have to pick another caller. Maybe I think can't hear us quite well. Hello? Yes, you're live on NTV. I think I've lost that one as well. We'll go for another caller again, probably before we come back to the conclusion. Hello? Hello, what's your name and question, please?
We'll go for another caller again.
Can you turn down the volume of your set, please? Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Give us your name and question, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. My name is John.
Yes. What is your question?
And I thank Madame Julian.
Yes. Can you...
I thank Madame Julian for really giving us a very good experience of an entrepreneur. And Silva, you're also doing a very good...
Yes, it seems he's watching us on TV. Dear viewers, when you come through, please don't watch yourself on TV asking the question. Just go direct. Use the phone. We can hear you, and I'm sure you'll be able to hear us. Hello, I'll pick another caller. I've lost that one. You know, also sometimes my, phone lines get overwhelmed by the calls.
Hello?
Yes, kindly give us your name and question, please.
Hello?
Hello?
NTV Uganda?
Yes, NTV Uganda. Please give us your name and question.
Yeah, how are you, sir?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm calling here, calling from Mogadishu, Somalia.
Oh, nice to hear from you.
Yes, I'd like to know from Mr. Charles if the program of training entrepreneurs is ongoing now with Enterprise Uganda, and and what are the requirements for me to join us if the program is ongoing?
Thank you. That point is taken. I'm sure Charles will tell you what it takes. I'll pick one more caller before we come back to the panel. Hello? Please give us your name and question.
I'll pick one more caller before we come back to the panel.
Sorry, I think that one is still on screen again. I think let's come back to the studio here. Charles, someone wants to know, what does it take to be...
Viewers, whatever you're hearing from here, be it a young person becoming an entrepreneur, a young lady becoming an entrepreneur, a lady starting from a micro stage and becoming a global story and an award winner. We have a range of solutions that Enterprise Uganda is giving to such people to deliver the kind of testimonies you are hearing here. I've told you that Enterprise Uganda is on plot number 38, Lumumba Avenue. The moment COVID is over, and I want you to know this by saying, when you see schools starting, when you see churches opening up, link up with Enterprise Uganda quickly. We have a whole range of solutions for a beginner, for a micro becoming small size, for a small size becoming medium size, and becoming a global brand. Those solutions exist in your very own enterprise building center called Enterprise Uganda. So please, but even if we have a continuation of the situation of COVID, reach us so that we can see how to give you counseling services, either by Zoom or by telephone or by having some meeting with SOPs properly attended to. So please reach us and we shall be able to give the solutions that are making this kind of testimonies that you are hearing every Sunday.
I hear you. Adair, you've won quite a number of awards. Walk us through some of these awards that you've... I'm actually even interested in the Noya Best Awards because, you know, that must have been tough. Yeah.
Wow. One of my biggest awards is the Commonwealth Woman Entrepreneur in the World. That was in Sri Lanka, by the women of Sri Lanka. That is 2014. And our PhD honor, that is by Commonwealth University in partnership with London
I'm sorry, I've already degraded you. It's supposed to be doctor.
Doctor,
yeah.
Doctor in agriculture and rural transformation.
Yeah.
I was honored among the 100 awards in the world by the Canadian women. Those I have 4 international awards, and I was honored by Investment Authority as the best homemaker, as the best job creator. The awards are so many actually. I need at times even to read. I was honored by Enterprise Uganda. I remember I got an award. I was honored by Ernst & Young as a job creator of the year, as an entrepreneur woman of substance. I got my, as the best job creator of the year, the, how do they call it? This award from the president, the Golden Medal Award. I have so many awards, I can't mention them. They're about, I was looking at them, there were 26.
That's quite something.
Of them.
That's quite something. Now, what would be your last remarks, you know, to the viewers out there who have watched you today?
To me, my last remarks, we need each other. We need to develop each other, especially Uganda. We need to support Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. We need to build our Uganda. We need to sustain ourselves. And we are gifted and blessed by nature in Uganda. We have land, easy for mechanized agriculture. And we have the highly educated professionals. So we need to wrap up together the government, development partners, entrepreneurs, and the professionals, and together to mentor, support, and skill the youth and show them how to do it so that we can support our mother Uganda and sustain ourselves. We have it all. If it is money, we have it. If it is the knowledge and the skill, we have it. If we have the will, we have it. But the problem is we are too scattered, we are not together, and we are not there to build each other. I was supported, encouraged by Enterprise Uganda, trained 19 years ago. When I became a board member of Private Sector Foundation representing skills, the first members I had to build was Enterprise Uganda. I did a smile when I looked at Ochicha. I said, yes, you trained me, now I'm a board member. Whenever I sit on the Presidential Investor Roundtable, mine is to lobby for the entrepreneurs. How can we work together with the professionals? how can we do it? We must believe in doing. Ugandans, our biggest challenge, yes, we are a highland country, but people don't want to do. And if you really don't want to do, that means you will never have anything. And you never start something which you cannot complete. I started my vision, I'm still pursuing my vision, but Ugandans, we should wake up and do our job and support each other ensure that we realize our dreams. To the government, please, for us who supply government, really, we are looking for money to survive. We need to be paid in time. And we need government to give all the contracts to Ugandans because the money I get, it is shared by thousands of people behind me. When the money is paid to a Chinese, it goes outside of the country. So buy Uganda, build Uganda. It is the only way which can help us to sustain ourselves as a country. Our small challenges in the complete value chain needs to be looked at. And also Ugandans, the habit of depending on maybe the donors, the government should come out. People should stop being lazy. Let somebody find you working, doing something. Whoever has helped me in life, it being government or development partners, they found me doing. Even the presidential pledge, he saw the orchard of the acres. He could not believe it. They said he needs a turnkey project. I demand for our turnkey project in Noya. Our fruits are rotting. I demand for the infrastructure. We need the roads. We need to be supported as the local entrepreneurs to realize our dreams. Because when we are supported, we also support others. People should look at our institute as an institute of learning, hands-on, and how to do it. People should do the issue of sitting that I have learned, I have it all. You remain with your knowledge in your brain. Your knowledge will not give you money. And we should also learn to create a dollar's worth. During COVID, we had everything in the farm because we planted so many things. Ugandans, let us believe in ourselves, believe in doing, believe in learning, believe in searching, growing standard from one step to another. Ugandans, we have it all. We can. Don't underrate your capacity. Don't sit on your dream. Just believe in yourself. Any vision you get, say, start it and start and ensure that you complete what you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Charles.
My closing remarks are very clear. One is that it is possible to start from zero, virtually nothing, and lead your life. And when you are still strong, see yourself having a business worth of $1 million. The lady is still very strong. She's already a multi-billionaire. She has exported. She has made so many earnings within her lifetime. But the second point is that entrepreneurs need to be celebrated. Their journeys are really, really tough. They can sometimes be lonely, but we need to support them. Supporting an entrepreneur is not a cost, it's an investment. Investment in good jobs. Investment in getting communities to become better. Investment in making a country stable and good and great. This is what we as a country should begin to be talking about every time we are talking about how to apportion our resources. Invest in the entrepreneur.
Thank you very much, Charles, and thank you very much, Dr. Adair, for your time. Dear viewers, I think you've had, it's a story of resilience. It's a story that tells you that you can actually make that leap from a small enterprise to a big enterprise. I know Adair wants to say something. I'm sure that address is also needed. Yes.
Really, I want to thank all my supporters. Whoever has taken Cheers juice since 1996, you made me to be what I am today.
Yes.
I really thank all my customers, the teenagers today. I'm grateful. I want to thank my family, my supportive husband, my supportive daughter, my workers, and all the partners who have supported me. Really, we have friends who are already there for us, to support you, to push you to be there. I really want to say thank you. Thanks so much.
And thank you. You can follow her on, I think the Facebook page is Delight Uganda. Exactly. For continuous engagement, we committed with Enterprise Uganda to continue bringing these and more stories to actually inspire you, but most importantly, to teach you how you can do it in business, how you can withstand the challenges that come with business, and learning from, practically the people that have been there, have done it, and have achieved it. I've been your host, Charles Boji. I'd like to wish you a very good evening, and see you next Sunday.